It was an evening like any other in a quiet little village on the edge of the forest. The sun had slipped below the horizon, leaving behind a sky painted in shades of orange and purple. A soft breeze moved through the trees, carrying with it the faint smell of damp earth and wood smoke. For the villagers, it was the time of day when work was over, when animals were tied safely in their sheds, and when families gathered around for their evening meals. But on the dusty paths that wound between small mud houses, one animal was still out wandering. It was a stray dog, thin, with rough fur and sharp eyes that always seemed to be on the lookout. He wasn't owned by anyone in particular, but the villagers knew him well. Children sometimes fed him scraps, women sometimes shooed him away from their doorsteps, but in many ways he belonged to the whole village. He was their silent guardian, barking at snakes, chasing away jackals, and alerting people whenever something unusual happened. That night, as he searched for food, his ears suddenly twitched. He heard something unusual, something heavy moving through the undergrowth. The dog froze, nose pointing toward the sound. At first he growled low in his throat. Usually such a sound meant danger, maybe a boar, maybe a jackal, or worse, maybe a leopard. And then, out of the shadows, the figure appeared. It was indeed a leopard, but not like the ones villagers whispered about in fear. This one was limping badly. Its paw dragged along the ground, leaving faint streaks of blood on the dirt. Its sides rose and fell with heavy breaths, and its golden eyes looked tired, almost desperate. Normally, a leopard's arrival would send a dog running for its life. But this time, something strange happened. The dog didn't run. He stood his ground, tail stiff, eyes locked onto the injured beast. For a moment there was silence, two natural enemies staring at one another under the dim glow of the moonlight. The villagers who later told the story would never forget that sight. A dog and a leopard, both frozen in time. Then slowly the dog turned. He walked a few steps forward, then stopped. He looked back, as if waiting for the leopard to follow. And the leopard did. Step after step, staggering but determined, the wounded predator followed the little village dog. Through narrow lanes they went, past houses where families sat whispering, past sheds where goats bleated nervously, past doorways where frightened eyes peered from behind curtains. No one could believe what they were seeing. A dog, calmly leading a leopard? It was something that sounded more like a fable than reality. Finally, the dog brought the leopard to his resting place, an old shed at the edge of the village, where the stray usually curled up at night. The leopard sank to the ground, exhausted. The dog sat nearby, ears twitching, but body calm. For a few moments, the world seemed to pause. There they were, predator and prey, side by side. Enemies in the natural order of things, but companions in that fragile moment. The villagers who dared to peek closer whispered among themselves. Some said it was a miracle. Others said the leopard's spirit had been broken by pain. A few even believed the dog had a special gift, that he was a messenger of peace. Whatever the truth, no one dared to interfere. They simply watched, their hearts racing as this unlikely pair shared the night. But nature is not always gentle. Minutes passed. The dog shifted, sniffed the air, and barked softly. The leopard's breathing grew louder, rougher. Its tail twitched. Its golden eyes, which had once looked tired and soft, suddenly burned with a wild light. Hunger and instinct began to return, and when instinct awakens in a predator, nothing can hold it back. With a sudden guttural growl, the leopard lashed out. Its paw struck the ground with a force that sent dust flying. The dog barked and leapt back, teeth bared, trying to defend himself. For a few heartbeats, the air was filled with chaos, the snapping of jaws, the roar of the big cat, the frantic barking of the dog. The villagers screamed and slammed their doors shut. Children cried. The night that had been so strangely peaceful only moments earlier had turned into a storm of terror. What exactly happened in those few minutes remains a mystery. Some witnesses claimed the leopard attacked the dog, unable to resist the pull of its predator's nature. Others said the villagers themselves, frightened and shouting, caused the leopard to panic and strike out at whatever was near. In the confusion, no one could see clearly, but what everyone agreed on was this: the fragile peace was shattered in an instant. The leopard, once calm, turned into the wild hunter it had always been. The dog, brave but powerless, faced the fury of a beast far stronger than him. By the time silence returned, the village would never forget what they had seen. The story spread quickly, how a dog had led an injured leopard home, how for a brief impossible moment the wild and the tame had walked together, and how, minutes later, nature had reminded them all of its cruel truth. It was a story of loyalty and courage, of instinct and betrayal, of how thin the line can be between peace and chaos. Some saw it as tragedy, others saw it as a lesson, but all agreed it was something they would never see again, because in the end, the dog's courage showed the beauty of trust, and the leopard's rage showed the danger of forgetting what the wild truly is. And so the tale of the dog and the leopard lives on, a reminder that nature is never fully tamed, and that even the strongest of bonds can break in the face of survival. You found this story fascinating? Don't forget to support our channel. Subscribe to Beast Whisperer for more incredible tales from the animal world. Your subscription helps us bring you closer to the secrets, wonders, and mysteries of nature.